I went to church, like, almost every week of my childhood, and, it's like, when you die, there's, like, these decisions made about you, and you go to heaven or hell, or, like, forever, and I just don't think it's that simple, and I don't know if it really matters that much. People have this false assumption that you need to believe that there's some consequence after death to be, like, a good person or to be a bad person, but I think we should all just live without the fear or without, expecting some reward in the afterlife. And I think that we should just live the lives we are given and to the fullest without kind of fighting and, it's fun to think about, but, like, without, leading our lives in the hopes of what happens after we're dead. We should lead our lives in the hopes of what we can do while we're living. I grew up in a really religious kind of environment. My parents raised me and my brothers and sisters in what is kind of believed as, like, to be a cult. It's not anything weird like brainwashing, but, there's rumors about it, but it's not, But just growing up in a really restrictive, conservative, religious home made me kind of almost forget about these things that I felt that made me different. I think it wasn't until like a year and a half ago when I, cut my hair, stopped dating boys. I liked my best friend who was a girl, and I don't know, something clicked in that I couldn't go back to the way that I was. I had just gotten in a big fight with my brother, and he had, like, pushed me against the wall, and he was yelling at me about how, how can you support, like, faggots and, these gay people, like, what kind of person are you? And it got to the point where you just yelled in front of my parents and my family, like, I'm gay. Like, I'm gay. Like, and I was actually out of the house for a few days just to kind of get away from them, just because of my brother and because of other situations. So, I was living with my friends for, just a little bit of time. And that's probably one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with regarding my sexuality. But, it's still a day-to-day thing, especially with my gender identity, that people often reach a threshold of their understanding. Maybe you can come out to them and they're like, okay, fine, like, we love you, whatever. But then you shave your head and all of a sudden my mother thinks that I look like her second son and gets all upset about it. They reach this point where they don't get it anymore. Yeah. And a lot of people have that very low, and a lot of people have that high, and, sometimes you can accept a gay daughter, but you can't accept a genderqueer or transgender child, and it's difficult, because you think that you've done it, you came out, but then you just have to come out all over again, I identify as genderqueer, and a lot of people don't really understand that, only because it's not picking. A lot of people think it's like a phase, just like people think like being bisexual might just be a phase, like, oh, well, you'll pick, it's all about picking. Yeah, so, some days I wake up, and I want to look like a boy and present as a man, and, I do, and some days I don't, and it's just as simple as that, but people don't understand that, I think. Being in high school, it's difficult for a lot of other people to even come out as gay or, even tell their best friend or anything. And so I think by trying to help other people and trying to, be as out and proud as I can, I think that sets an example for a lot of other high school students who are struggling, and I try to do that, When I'm out with my girlfriend, we hold hands and we don't care about, the people who say things or the people who look, which is a lot of people. But, yeah, so I think it's, even if you're in high school or no matter how young you are, you can make a difference and you can do things that will affect other people.